Hello everybody, this is Miss Andrea from the Wilson Community Library. Welcome to day 1 of 12 days of holidays. We are so happy that you were able to grab a kit and join us. We are really excited to be able to do this for our community, and we hope you enjoy creating the items as much as we do, and as much as we had fun making everything for you. So today, without further ado, day 1, December 20th, we are going to be making a 3D holiday card ornament. Honestly, you could make these out of any type of cards. Birthday cards left over, Halloween cards left over, it doesn't matter. Any type of hard cardstock type material you could make this out of. So you're going to need this today, and you're also going to need your tacky glue. I will say that there are some projects that might go a little faster. If you want to use a different type of adhesive, glue gun, scrapbook glue, things like that. I think I created this one using scrapbook glue. It's like the little roller thing, but this will work. It's wonderful glue. It dries pretty fast. It's just sometimes hot glue and like scrapbook glue or double-sided tape works a little faster. So feel free to use whatever you feel comfortable with, but we wanted to make sure we provided you with everything. You will also need scissors today. To make things go a little bit faster, I did do some pre-cutting before the video. I didn't think you guys would appreciate just watching me cut 20 circles out, so you will need scissors as well, and a pen, a pencil, marker, something to draw your cutouts on. So here we go. Let's open this baby up. So first of all, this is what you will be making. It is adorable. It is so cute. It's fairly simple. I would say a little tedious maybe, because you do have to cut out 20 circles. But if you have a paper punch that's already circular, or a Cricut where you could cut out your circles, that's going to save you a lot of time, effort, and energy. But I hand cut all mine just because I wanted to give you the real life experience. So this is super cute. You're going to need most likely all of the cards in your kit. We did give you enough to be able to make 20 circles, because that is what you're going to need. So there's just a variety in there of what you're going to make. You will need something circular to trace. I honestly, for this one, used I think a Gatorade cap or a milk cap would work. Any kind of circular cap. These ones that I just did today before this video, I actually used a toilet paper tube for my circles. That's probably about that size is what you're going to get 20 circles out of these specific cards. If you have more cards at home or more cardstock that you want to add, you could make your circles bigger, but I didn't want my ornament to be any bigger than this. So see, it kind of fits right in the palm of my hand. So the bigger your circles, the bigger your ornament's going to be. So yeah, basically what you're going to do is you're going to take whatever you're using to trace your circles. Here is a lid from salad dressing. So you're just going to place your circular item here. You're going to take your pen, and you're just going to trace around there, and then you're going to cut it out, and you're going to do that 20 different times. So you can either pause the video, come back to that, whatever you want to do. Watch the video to see how it all plays out. We did try to use pieces that didn't have, like this is the back of a card, so you might want to just stay on these two corners. You should be able to get at least 2 circles out of each piece, so we gave you 10 pieces. These you might be able to get 3 or 4 out of. So that's the first thing you have to do. Is cut out all those different circles. So I'm going to get this out of the way now. And then what you have to do is, once you have all these circles cut out, then you're going to need to use another piece of either like a scrap piece of that card that you have there, or just some piece of cardstock for a template. You're going to need to make a triangle, and this is what's going to make you put on here to fold these sides up to make it glue together. So what I did is I took a ruler and I just kind of eyeballed. Some of you who want to get real technical, you can measure, but I just took my circle and I took my ruler and traced out that triangle to try to make it pretty even on each side. See how I did that? So you're just going to take that ruler and you're going to draw out a triangle to try to make it as even as you can on each side. So because then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to trace this is our template, we're going to have to trace this on every single circle so that way we know where the folds are. So, and you can tell that I kind of goofed a little bit. So let me show you what I mean if you're a little confused. Let me grab an extra piece of cardstock real quick and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm actually just going to use a paper plate. Alright, so you're going to take your circle, right? And I'm just going to trace this one. There's my circle. Okay? So now what I want to do is I want to get this triangle on here. So I'm just going to eyeball it and do my best here to try to make, and that's already going to be too big, I already know. And just try to make the most even triangle I can to make sure that these three sides are pretty even. There we go. So now we're going to cut out our circle. Kind of looks like a Harry Potter symbol. Okay. So, yeah. So now we're going to, okay, that is really uneven, guys. Look at that. That's terrible. So I'm going to try to fix this. There we go. Okay, so now we're just going to cut out that triangle. And there we have it. So that's going to be my template for each circle. Okay? So that's what I meant by that. So you're going to take your triangle and you're just going to trace it on every single circle. So this is what I mean where this project is a little tedious just because you've got to cut out all these circles. I'm actually going to use a different pen because this one tends to get smudgy and I don't want smudges everywhere. So let me use a less smudgier pen. This will work. Okay, because then what you're going to do is once you have this triangle traced on all of these, you're going to fold each circle on the line. Just like that. So every single circle is going to look like this because then you're going to glue the circles together. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to all of these circles. I'm going to pause my video here and I'll be back once I have this done to every single circle. But let me show you one more time before I pause it. So we'll take our circle and on the back we're going to put our triangle and we're just going to trace the triangle. You could use a pencil if you wanted, if you want to be able to go and erase it later. There we go. So now we have two. See, because what we're going to do is these are going to have to glue to each other. See how that works? So go ahead and do this to all 20 of your circles. I'm going to pause this and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have one last circle to do here. So I'm going to finish this circle. Okay, and now all 20 circles have been traced, and now we just need to fold them all. This part's pretty simple. And you want to make sure that you're folding the edges up toward the cardstock, not away. And it doesn't have to be, I mean, you can make an exact. You do it as exact or as not exact as you want. I think what I might do when I get done is I have some ink pads because I'm a scrapbooker, and I might just ink the sides of these to kind of cover up some of the imperfections, because let's be honest, I mean, unless you're using a Cricut or a paper punch and a Cricut to make your triangle, there's probably no real way that you're going to get this perfect. But I just think these are real fun. I did these once with, I think I was a Girl Scout leader a few years ago, and I think we did these once, and that was, I want to say they were in 4th grade at the time. That was a trying project. I want to say we might have did this as a activity here at the library also. If memory serves me right. Oh, this one's not right. If memory serves me right, you definitely need an older kiddo, because like I said, it is a little tedious. It takes a little bit of patience. Oops, a little bit of time. But it is really cool. Like, I would not want to do a whole tree full of these. But it's a good way to use up. I'm a huge fan of using materials twice. So, you know, I love getting holiday cards. And so I tell people, like, send me a holiday card. So I have a ton of them. And I save them until the next year, because then I know who to send holiday cards out to. But then I'm like, then what do I do with them? Well, it's the perfect way to repurpose holiday cards. The other thing you could do is, if you knew you were doing this project at the end of the holiday season, like we did, you here at the library, you can snatch a bunch of these up for super cheap. And like, I want to say maybe we got a few of these packs for like 50 cents or something like that. So, okay. Now I will stop chit-chatting here. We have all of our circles traced with our template, folded, and now we have to decide what pattern we're going to use. Now, you can use a pattern, you don't have to use a pattern, but I'm going to show you how to use a pattern in case you do. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to connect 5 of these together for the top, and you're going to connect 5 of them together for the bottom, and then the middle is 10 connected. Okay? So my 5 at the top are going to be these. Okay, and then my 5 at the bottom are also going to be the same pattern. And then the 10 in the middle will look something like this, maybe. I don't know, the middle I'm not too concerned with. Okay, so now what we have to do is we're going to construct the top, construct the bottom, and then construct the middle. So I'm going to use my little tacky glue here and put a bit on here. And so basically you just start connecting just like that. Okay, so then the next one is going to connect this way, because remember, we're making the top. So we're going to connect it here. And like I said, they're probably not going to be perfect, but try to get it as close as you can. Then we're going to use this guy again. It's number 4. And then last but not least, we're going to put glue here and here, because we're going to get it to stick to the side. So we'll do this side first, this side second. Ta-da! There we go. We have either our top or our bottom, whatever you want to call it. This is where you're going to use your you can use ours, you can use whatever if you have ribbon at home, but this is where you're going to put your ribbon in before you put your ball together, is you're just going to put it through this little hole right here. And then you would just tie your knot here so it doesn't go through. I'm going to hold it up top and down here. Perfect. Ta-da! And then you just give it a trim. Throw the rest away. Okay, so so this is going to be our top since I put the string there. And this is actually holding really well. This glue is doing amazing. Okay, so there's the top. Now we're going to do the same. We're going to repeat the same for the bottom. Okay, and just a reminder, you are going to be using this tacky glue throughout many of the projects for the 12 days, so just be mindful of how much you are using and don't lose it, right? That would be a bummer. Okay, I'm trying to keep my pattern going here. Okay. The top and the bottom are pretty easy. Ooh, that was a lot. I'm going to put some over here too. The middle gets a little tricky just because you have to do it a certain way. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Okay, so put this one there. Put a little bit too much on that one side. There we go. Just a little bit there. Yeah, that's put way too much there. It's getting all loopy on me now. Okay, then we'll stick these two together. Okay, and there's our bottom. I'm getting glue everywhere on me. Okay, so that's what our bottom looks like. It reminds me of those little fortune tellers that I made when I was a kid. Yeah, because I'm old enough that I didn't have a cell phone when I was a kid. Okay, there we go. So now we have our top and our bottom. We're going to let those dry while we work on our middle part here. So, okay, this gets a little tricky just because you have to basically make your triangles go point down, point up, point down. See how that's working? Because we don't want it to be a circle this time. So we're really just going to glue everything in a straight line just like that. So your triangle should point down, point up, point down, point up, point down, if that makes sense. And you're just going to make one big line. Okay, so it's easier maybe to see it this way. So we've got our triangle. So we have point up, point down. So now our next one is going to point up. Okay, glue that together. I'm just kind of holding them as I go so that way it's not so slippery. Okay, so then now we've got a point up, so now we have to point down. Okay, just going to kind of let that sit for a second. See? So point up, point down, point up, point down. I'm just going to let these have a minute to get tacky before I keep going. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit more here. And this time our triangle is pointing up. Okay, so you want to make sure, it's very important that your line is just going straight across. You don't want to glue up to the top or the bottom because it's not going to work. So just be mindful that you're doing your triangles pointing up, pointing down, and you're keeping on with the straight line. I'm just going to put a few so they can get a little tacky before I put them together. Yeah, there we go. Get some glue on all these. Should have thought of that in the beginning. Okay, so now we've got glue on all of our pieces here. Okay, so now I'm going to keep going. So now the triangle should point down. Oh yeah, this is way easier. Okay. Oh, but now I've lost my pattern. Does it really matter? Probably not. See? It's so cute. Okay, so then, now we want our triangle to point up. Okay. What's next? Let's do the green. Okay, and now the triangle is going to point down. Now the triangle is going to point up. And last but not least, oh, this one might need a little bit more. I didn't put enough on that one. Oops. Okay, and now this triangle is going to point down. And so, once we've got all 10, you can see it's a nice, like a nice line of triangles. Pointed up, pointed down, and this is the middle. So then what you're going to do, now this is where opinions differ, how to connect the bottom and the top together. The way that I do it is I am going to connect the whole body together and then put the top and bottom on. Some people like to do it differently. You do whatever works for you. I'm going to show you the way I do it. And if you're like, oh, this is not working, Andrea, then feel free to do it a little differently. So now, again, you want to make sure that you're continuing the line so your two sides come together. Make sure you're not gluing it to the bottom or the top here. I'm just going to get that. Okay, so now we have a beautiful middle. See how that's a perfect circle, if you will? Well, okay, not perfect, but you see what I'm saying. So now the trick is to get the top glued to the top and the bottom glued to the bottom. Now, you might be like me and want to make sure your pattern is, you know, nothing's matching each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put glue on each of these pieces so it gets kind of tacky and set up before. And if you had like a little paintbrush or even like a toothpick, you could probably, I'm just going to use my finger, you could probably get this a little more. Okay, so now we're going to strategically place our top to our middle. So I'm just going to squeeze each piece together to get them to stick. Oh, this is looking so cute. So I'm just going to give it a minute to kind of like set up. And you're going to have to, the first part is easy because you can get your finger in there to kind of work everything as close as you can. Again, they're probably not going to be perfect, but I'm getting glue everywhere. But a little bit of scrapbook ink, nobody will ever know. You could rough up the edges with your scissors. Okay, so I'm just going to let that set up for a second before I start working on the bottom. And then while that's setting, I'm going to start putting my glue on here for it to get tacky. And you're just going to do the same thing on the bottom. Just going to kind of spread it around here. Beautiful. I'm just going to... Okay, and then the same thing on the bottom now. You want to strategically, if you care, like I do, to make sure I don't get the same piece with the same piece. So here we go. And the top has already kind of made the form for us, so this is actually going pretty pretty simply here. Ah, look at that. It's so cute. Okay. So cute, you guys. So cute. Okay. Just keep pressing it to get that glue to stick. Ah, my fingers are... Okay, look at that. How cute. So there you go. That is how you make your 3D ornament ball. One thing that I would do, that you could do, I'm going to wipe this off real quick here. If you want to jazz it up a little bit, is you could do, like I said, the scrapbooking ink, or you have to be very careful when you do this. So you could, now this is the one that I had. I'm letting this one dry. So let it dry for a minute. But you could go through and rough up the edges of the paper to give it more of a antiqued finish there. I mean, that's just me though. You could do that. You could do the scrapbook ink, whatever you want. But there you go. Now you know how to make a 3D ornament ball. And again, any type of greeting card will work, but the holiday cards look really cute. They've got like great, you know, holiday colors. You could do like a snow one if you wanted to just use blue and the glitter. And again, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, please give us a call here at the library, 774-8805. We will see you tomorrow, December 21st, for day 2, which is the clothespin wooden star. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.